So let's move on to the next question, guys. In this question, we are given that there are 3 points a comma b comma a, x comma y, which lie in the same quadrant, right? And we have to compare x, y, and 0. So first of all, what are quadrants? So let's suppose this is the xy axis, right? So this is the first quadrant, this is the second quadrant, this is the third quadrant, and this is the fourth quadrant. Okay, so I hope this should be very clear. This is the first quadrant, second, third, fourth, right? So we are given that points a comma b comma a, x comma y lie in the same quadrant, right? Now tell me one thing. For example, if a comma b, right, is equals to, for example, let's say 2 comma minus 3, right? The value of a is 2, the value of b is minus 3, right? Then what will be the quadrant for this? This is positive, this is negative, right? So which quadrant is this? Positive and then negative. So this is the fourth quadrant, right? Now tell me one thing. What is b comma a? B comma a will be what? B comma a will be minus 3 comma 2, right? Minus 3 comma 2. I hope this should be clear. And what will be minus 3 comma 2? It will be in which quadrant? Minus 3 comma 2. That means it will be in the second quadrant, right? So, but we are given in the question that a comma b comma a, x comma y all lie in the same quadrant, right? This means that this value of a comma b is not possible, right? Because we see a comma b lies in the fourth quadrant and b comma a lies in the second quadrant, which are different quadrants, but it is given that they should lie in the same quadrant, right? Similarly, if you take, for example, a comma b like minus 4 comma 5, let's suppose, right? If you find out a comma b and b comma a will again lie in different quadrants, right? Because a comma b is minus 4 comma 5, which is second quadrant, and b comma a will be what? 5 comma minus 4, right? 5 comma minus 4, which will be in the fourth quadrant, right? So similarly, what we can derive or conclude is that if a comma b are of opposite signs, for example, one is positive or the other is negative, right? Or one is negative and the other is positive, then a comma b and b comma a will always lie in different quadrants. So I hope this should be very clear, right? And it is given that they should lie in the same quadrant. That means these two cases are not possible, right? Okay. Now, for example, let's suppose a comma b is equals to 5 comma 6, right? So 5 comma 6 is what? It is the first quadrant because both are positive, positive, positive. So this lies in the first quadrant, right? Now tell me b comma a. B comma a will be what? 6 comma 5, right? 6 comma 5. And 6 comma 5 also lies in the first quadrant, right? So this case is absolutely fine, right? Now tell me one thing. If a comma b is equals to, let's say, both are negative, minus 5 comma minus 6, right? Then it will lie in which quadrant? It will lie in the third quadrant, negative and negative, this one, right? And tell me if it will be b comma a, then what will be b comma a? B comma a will be minus 6 comma minus 5, which again will lie in the third quadrant, right? So basically what this means is that if we have to satisfy this condition, then both a and b should be of the same sign. That means either both should be positive or both should be negative. Then only a comma b and b comma a will be in the same quadrant. I hope this should be very clear, right? Now tell me one thing. Similarly for x comma y, they should both be of the same signs. That means x and y are both positive or x and y are both negative, right? Same as this. That means we can say that x comma y are both positive, right? Or x comma y are both negative, right? Either both will be positive like this or both will be negative like this, right? Because this also lies in the same quadrant. Now tell me one thing, if x comma y are both positive, then xy will obviously be positive, right? And if x comma y are both negative, for example -2 -3, then the product of x and y will be positive. If both are negative, then also xy will be positive. So irrespective of the two cases, the value of xy will always be positive, right? So that is why xy is always positive. So this side is greater than this. So the answer becomes A. I hope this should be clear.